Think of school, man. Like, people like me are scared for a year because of a bully. Now take that year, make it 7 years. How the fuck do you think these people are gonna last?
Welcome to his favorite K-pop show, DK News.
Danny Kim.
David.
Lots on stuff.
Hot as tea.
First off, BOL4's An Ji-young talks about her alleged beef with Woo Ji-yoon.
And second, we have the US soldiers in Korea firing fireworks at Koreans.
At Korean people. Oh no, what now?
And last but not least, the biggest news of the weekend. Jimin exposed, quits, and AOA to maybe disband. Uh-oh.
So much terrible news. Before we go on, we're selling this spot. It's still for sale. A lot of people have been talking with us. I think Sarah's handling that. Please email us at this email down below, and you can use this spot for your advertisements.
Okay. Let's begin with the fun news.
Okay.
Maybe not fun to Koreans, but US soldiers cause a rampage at Haeundae, located in Busan, the most famous beach in Korea, with dangerous behavior.
Oh, what now?
On July 4th in Busan, Haeundae, there was a disturbance in that area caused by American soldiers gathered firing fireworks all together, and some of them shot the fireworks at Korean civilians and buildings.
How smart.
Yeah, on the day before, there were actions of firing fireworks out of high-rise skyscrapers, causing residents to call the police. The fireworks started to be fired around 5 p.m. and were fired until past midnight.
That's a lot of fireworks.
Yeah,
whoever was selling the fireworks had a good day.
Right, reportedly for 11 hours.
Holy shit.
The US soldiers from the Korean US base had been granted a day off holiday for 4th of July, so you can see why it's all Americans mostly. 4th of July for a global audience is Americans' Independence Day, and hundreds of soldiers flocked to the beach to celebrate the holiday, firing firecrackers everywhere on the streets, on the beach, and at bars. There were sparks spotted on the ground and everywhere that made dangerous situations. Most of them were drunk and caused noise on the streets, and many of them drove their cars out on the streets and turned up their speakers to the max volume with their windows open.
Seems like the least of the problems.
Yeah, and blocked the roads.
Okay.
Until past midnight.
Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah, there were several video clips found, like this one, where one American refuses a police officer's instruction while mocking the officer, blowing a whistle and dancing. And while in this one American keeps on firing even when the police asked him to stop. He even ends up fleeing from the officers like GTA. According to many Busan citizens, when the roads were blocked and drivers requested the cars to be removed, the car owners, the Americans, put up their middle finger and didn't care. There were a total of 70 calls to the police. None were arrested, and only one American got a fine of $40.
$40?
Yeah. Other than this news, there was some peaceful American soldiers that went to the beach to spend their holiday, but the problem was almost no one was found to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Most of the foreigners took a place of their own on the beach, all gathered together and partied with loud hip-hop music on, drinking beer and celebrating 4th of July. When many Koreans notified of this issue to the police, the Haeundae borough workers even encouraged foreigners to wear masks holding English signs, and they actually handed out masks for free to the foreigners, but nobody actually did. And when the workers approached them and said,
"Could you wear your mask?"
many of the Americans or foreigners answered, "I'm gonna go in the virus room."
Can I ask you why you guys don't wear the mask?
In the water, I don't want it to get it.
And foreigners who were given the mask simply put them in their bags. Also, in order to rent a parasol on the beach, currently every Korean is obligated to register their personal info for potential tracking of outbreaks of the virus. But the workers who were renting the parasols said that foreigners simply said they don't have a phone. They can't issue their ID.
That's convenient.
Yeah, and obviously criticism and negative responses against these Americans mostly are rising, as many are worried that the virus will start to mass spread again due to this irresponsible behavior. Koreans are commenting that all of these Americans should be given records and deported out of the country according to this kind of behavior, and one comment said, "American soldiers love coming to Korea because they know there's actually no chance of war, there's a bunch of clubs, it's fun to play around, Koreans like Americans, they don't get punished by law no matter what they do. Are these people really allies? Americans should move out of the country. They are just here because because of the geopolitical power they can gain by pressuring China. Now they're even requesting us to hand over astronomical amount of money for stationing their troops. It's not even their land that they're bullying us and they're robbing us. Oh no, that is a very political and harsh statement, but I thought it was funny, so I just grabbed it. So anyways, what do you
Kick
think
them
about
out.
yeah, what do you
Build
think
a
about this
wall.
overall situation? Build a wall for Americans in a peninsula?
Yeah, let's see how they like
Okay.
it when we build a wall.
Yeah.
First of all, what happened there, that's not okay.
Come
Am
on.
I surprised though? Like, I don't want to stereotype American people, but when I go to foreign countries,
Yeah.
not America, usually the loud people
Are the Americans.
American people.
Americans are everywhere, to be honest. They are the wealthiest, the biggest. So
Traveling. I seen acts like this previously, but nothing on this scale.
Yeah.
This is just insane. What are these people doing? Firing firecrackers for 11 hours? Okay, I can get maybe like 1 hour, 2 hour. You guys can have your little
I mean,
time.
I can get even if it was on the beach. Like a lot of people fire fireworks on the beach. That would be okay. But like at a pedestrian street right next to a bar where everyone's like walking, Haeundae is like booming right now because it's summer. And there's a lot of Korean citizens coming there. And if you see the video, there are 100 of them like and like shooting at people.
I mean, I can see it doing that for an hour or two.
yeah.
11 hours? No. Blocking the roads? Come on, like that's a little bit over the lines. I personally, have no hard feelings, but I think this is not okay. What's more disappointing for me is that the police couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
If a Korean was to do that, he would be instantly arrested. Obviously, preferential treatment. Like they're afraid of the political mess that might occur when they arrest an American person.
That's why there are comments saying like we can't do anything no matter what Americans do in our country.
Pretty much.
This has been a long talked about and discussion throughout the years. There was like one case when 2 children were actually
ran over by tanks.
ran over by an American
That
tank.
was like 15 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge incident, and there's always been talks about like some people getting assaulted in Itaewon and these people never getting punished by the US troops or not. There's constant cases like this.
Here's the issue though. I think there's a very fine line between perhaps like logical reasoning why these American soldiers are not preferred versus just pure xenophobia.
It's okay to celebrate,
Just don't
but
make
not
other
to that
people
extent,
hurt,
you know? Like, don't fire it out of like 70-floor building windows.
Exactly. Don't do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit, but let's admit that everybody does dumb shit. Let's not generalize that.
I mean, yeah, it's a
Americans
fraction
are
of people.
especially, but it definitely does not look good when you're in uniform and you're doing dumb shit.
Well, then they weren't in uniforms, but
You're serving.
Yeah.
When you're a soldier, they hold some responsibility. They hold some symbolism and some representation to their country. So it definitely does feel a little bit different there.
right. Maybe they were too patriotic as a soldier. So
Yeah, they're too excited.
But
about
anyways,
4th of
like
July.
wear your mask.
Corona still hits you.
And also, I found a fun comment saying, "Where are all these manly Busan dudes when
They're
we
all
need
gone
them?"
now. They're like, oh, you can block the road. Oh, you can shoot firecrackers at me. It's okay. It
Yeah.
doesn't hurt. Okay, on to the next news. An Ji-young from BOL4, and she responded to rumors about her beef with her former bandmate Woo Ji-yoon. An Ji-young, she's the vocalist. She came out publicly stating on her rumored beef with her former bandmate Woo Ji-yoon. Now, Woo Ji-yoon left the band a few months back and recently released an album which featured lyrics that seemed to call out An Ji-young. In the lyrics to her song Dodo, she talked about someone being endlessly greedy, selfish, and trying to gaslight her. Many thought it was aimed at An Ji-young. I mean, the lyrics are pretty direct.
I mean, at that point, I was just like, it maybe could be like a love song. Gaslighting doesn't usually appear among like partners.
It's not a love song. Woo Ji-yoon later clarified that it was not about her former bandmate. People still believed otherwise. Everybody except for David believed otherwise.
I like to believe in the artist.
Okay. Suspicions deepened on the beef as the two unfollowed each other on Instagram, and many posts online were speculating on what had actually happened, to a point where An Ji-young decided enough was enough. She put up a post on Instagram. She stated that Ji-yoon, actually she didn't refer to her by her name, but she said 친구.
그 친구.
그 친구, which is like, it's not even friend, it's like that person. Would be more closely translated to that person, because if
something in between.
it actually feels
befriend
pretty
that
distant.
person.
It
Yeah.
actually, if you call somebody 그 친구.
Yeah, you would just say like 지훈이.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you're an actual friend.
Yeah.
That person told me that she needed rest, and I soon received a message from my company that she was leaving the group. There was no mistreatment, there was no bad feelings. I don't understand people claiming such things. I saw the lyrics to her song many times, and regardless of her intentions, it seemed obvious that it was about me. There were many speculative articles that were trending, so I had a very difficult time because of it. I am getting therapy every week due to depression. I unfollowed her because I couldn't handle the rumors anymore.
no.
I will support her as she takes on her new challenge. Don't compare us or question who was good or bad. She's going through some tough times
Yeah, I can
because
see
of the
that.
speculation and the lyrics. All this kind of seemed to clear things up. Woojiun actually came up with a post of her own, and the beef deepened. She said,
I left BOL4 primarily because I had concerns on my future and path. However, I wanted to end things after a concert, but she showed intent that she wanted to part with me more quickly, so I ended up leaving sooner than I thought. As I said, the song was written a few years ago, and I have nothing more to say. I feel bad that the rumors are the center of attention on my first solo release.
which I agree, like that's all that she's been talked about. Anjeong made a reply again saying, I received the message that she wants to leave, not personally, but through the company. And that hurt. I wanted to keep the honesty of BOL4's music, so I decided it would be best to carry activities by myself. We could have just talked about this personally, but I feel bad it's come this far. If you have anything left to say, please don't avoid me and contact me personally. What do you make of this situation?
So first of all, I think we need to identify the problem of this whole situation, and I think the initial problem is the commenters or the hate commenters or the nosy people who are talking all about this situation, and this has been going on for years now. Ever since BOL4 was created, people were mocking Woojiun that she's the kitagap, she's like the free rider that's doing nothing in the team, she's just leeching off of Anjeong, and that's gonna create beef even if there isn't. If people keep on saying that for years, like you're gonna have like that kind of complex inside you. So first of all, people should have stayed in their line, not hurting Woojiun like that. And also second, the whole catalyst for this series of events, like them coming out with statements and fighting like this, it was all because people kept on asking Anjeong, why did you unfollow Woojiun? What are people doing? Like, are they home like scrolling through Anjeong's friend list every single day and checking if she unfollows Woojiun? And even if she does, why do they have to point that out and make a whole fuss out of it?
It's pretty interesting gossip though. I gotta admit.
Like people can just go on like, oh, she unfollowed her, but people are like,
Oh my God, she unfollowed her. They're probably divorcing, blah, blah, blah.
and then
Interesting gossip.
it went to the point that Anjeong had to come out and make a statement for herself, like there's nothing, no beef between us, I was just getting depressed, I couldn't see her post anymore. Why does she have to self-explain herself? And it's all because of the commenters who created a ratchet, and then there's articles coming out just because she unfollowed someone. But
Here's an unpopular opinion.
What?
If they don't get that, if they don't have those commenters, that means they're unpopular. That means their career's done. It's either you have people looking at your unfollow list every single day, or no one cares about you.
well, still, I don't think it's justifiable. Those people are stupid. They don't have anything better to do than going through other people's follow list.
Let's talk about the lyrics now. I do think they're directed at Anjeong. There's some people saying like, oh, stop making shit up. But once you put something out there, it's really out of your hands. If you don't want to have people talk about your lyrics in a way that you didn't intend to, then you shouldn't put your music out there. You should just listen to it with your friends or something. That's what I think. Because like, she put it out there. She put the product out there. Woojiun obviously knows people have this image of her, right? Right? She knows that this lyric is probably gonna be interpreted in such a way.
Okay.
Like anyone with a brain probably think of a possibility. It might not have been her intentions, but she would know that this would be the way that people would interpret this lyric.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I agree to that point, but
Like, most
she
people
came
wouldn't-
out and cleared it. She
I
said
know,
it's
but-
not intended, and then people kept on going. That's the problem.
It's ironic because I feel like she acts like, you know, this wasn't what she expected. I'm not trying to bash her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know, you kind of had this coming for you. So it's either, if you don't want this being the center of attention for your first song, you don't release this song, you release another song, you change the lyrics or something, or
I don't know about that.
I feel that
I
way.
mean, say like this might be a weird example, but it just came up to my mind. But there's like the Mona Lisa and there's like the creator Da Vinci. People are discussing whether Mona Lisa had no eyebrows or he did it intentionally, blah 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 blah. And then Da Vinci comes out and says like, oh, I just drew a person with no eyebrows actually. And then the case is closed, right? Like the actual creator came out and said like the intention was not there, like she didn't have eyebrows. It's it. And then people keep on going, say, nah, actually I think Da Vinci like slipped, like he forgot to paint the eyebrows, blah blah blah. People keep on going. I think that's stupid.
Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true. Even if they think, you know, it's not about her, or even if they think like that wasn't their intention, subconsciously, you know, it might have been their intention.
Yeah, they have the right to say that, but like if the artist comes out and says like don't talk about it anymore, it was not about that, like they should respect that too.
Whatever.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah,
to be honest.
honestly, I don't care.
People
but,
are gonna
like,
be people. People are gonna be nosy. I don't know. These
I don't
people
know
need
if
to
it's
get a life.
nosy though. Like I don't get this nosy thing. Like celebrities need nosy people to live. Who the f is gonna give a shit about Kim Kardashian
these
if
people are the
people
raw-
aren't nosy?
These people are the rotten apples that don't appreciate their music, but their scandals. There are artists that get appreciated by their music, and the artists can survive with those fans only too.
Go listen to some like Mozart or some shit. The industry right now, it's running on nosy people.
Like,
Right?
either way, these people should be.
I don't
called
like-
out.
I don't
these
like
people
nosy
should
people.
be called out.
It needs nosy people to
Okay.
live. Next news.
So next news, this is the real news that has been trending for like still
Tragedy.
Yeah. Mina exposes Jimin from AOA, not BTS. On the 3rd, ex-AOA member Mina suddenly started exposing AOA's current leader, Jimin. She started posting long messages on her own Instagram with stories about her being bullied and harassed by AOA's Jimin in the past. Mina claimed that the bullying had been constant for over 10 years throughout their activities and that she had tried to commit suicide several times due to the bullying and harassment. We won't go through the details of all the posts because Mina posted a lot and some of the content is pretty graphic.
I was very
so
shocked when
yeah,
I saw
so if you are interested in the translations, I'm sure they're on the internet. So for example, by graphic, Mina posted a picture of her wrist with several scars that seemed to be the result of you know what. It was pretty obvious that the post Mina was posting was not posted in a good mental state. Yeah, she was kind of like going here.
I felt very shocked when I saw that.
It was like every single post was very long. It was very.
And that scar was very deep.
Yeah, there was several scars
I was
too.
very shocked.
In the meantime, when Mina uploaded her first post of her series of the stories, Jimin reacted to the post by posting 2 letters on her Instagram story, 소설, which means novel or fiction, which means like you're making up
lying.
bullshit. Yeah. While it's not sure whether Jimin was referring to Mina's post or not, she immediately received enormous backlash and quickly erased the story. And when Mina heard of Jimin's post, she became very aggressive and started dropping all these posts after posts exposing Jimin's past behavior. And there were reports amidst the controversy that Jimin had become shocked and was in sleep with the help of sleeping pills. Mina, of course, backfired about Jimin's irresponsible behavior of being able to sleep when she had suffered herself from insomnia and trauma for years due to Jimin's bullying. The controversy was the most trending in Korea for a while, and later FNC staff and AOA members all headed towards Mina's house to talk about the situation, and Mina posted shortly after that they had all came. Jimin seemed initially extremely angry at her and yelled, "What do you want me to do?" and held a knife, threatening to hurt herself. However, at the end, the members and staff calmed down Jimin, and eventually Jimin apologized to Mina. And Mina said that she wasn't sure that she could actually forgive Jimin, but she would stop because she was causing too much noise and trouble and people were worried for her. And after that, Jimin put out an apology statement that looked very formal and insincere according to a lot of people and journalists. Jimin said that she admitted that she lacked the ability to lead the team AOA, and she feels regret and remorse that she couldn't understand Mina and take care of her. She said that she cried and cried again to Mina, admitting that she didn't expect Mina to accept her apology that easily. And then at the end of the post, she apologized to her members and later corrected the post with an additional sorry to Mina. And Mina then became furious again about the fact that Jimin stated that she had begged, used the word begged, while apologizing to her. And Mina continued to expose Jimin and posted that Jimin had once took a male into the AOA dormitory and had sexual intercourse. The situation could not be extinguished. It just escalated over and over again, and FNC, who were basically doing nothing about the situation, put out a sudden apology statement out of the blue that Jimin would be quitting from AOA and all media activities for in the future. FNC apologized that they would take responsibility and be more careful about managing their artists in the future. The controversy is still ongoing actually, as the other members of AOA are getting suspicion too, as Mina stated on her post that the staff and members who visited her at her house when Jimin apologized were all the same and were all on Jimin's side. And another AOA members, Ho Young posted on her Instagram with a caption saying, "To be honest, I thought everyone was the same back then. I can't forget the eyes of the bystanders." So Seoryun, who is known to be Jimin's close friend, is also receiving splash damage as well, because K-Nets are saying that she couldn't have possibly not known for all this time and that she neglected the situation. People are now digging up on really what happened to AOA when Choa and the other members left, and whether it was because of any of this controversy related to the similar situation. And for now, as Jimin has exited the group, there are only 4 members left, which is bringing up many articles mentioning that this event is or will lead to technically the disbandment of AOA. The question is, as there have been many past cases, how do you think we should solve this problem of bullying within K-pop idols?
It's more than the individual. The bigger issue is that A, they're all living together. That's a big issue. And B, they're living together for 7 years. Like, a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're living together for the entirety 7 years, but they
At least like 3 to 5 years.
Right,
at
right.
least.
And they're stuck together as a team for 7
they're
years.
using bunker beds, for God's sake.
And when you are stuck together for 7 years and you can't escape that contract, when something like this happens, it's very difficult to, you know, stand up for your friend, say. Like if someone's like bullying somebody else and you're just a bystander, it's very difficult to, you know, stand up and like cause confrontation. Then, you know, you might possibly be bullied too, and then you might have to face that for 7 years.
Wow, you know so much about these dynamics.
Yeah, I know. But I've been bullied all my life. That's how it works. Think of school, man. Like people like me are scared for a year because of a bully. Now take that year, make it 7 years. How the fuck do you think these people are gonna last? Point of view. 7 years. Initially it was like 14 years. That was crazy. 7 years contract, because they put a lot of investment into it. That's the magic number. I understand that and I respect that. The number one thing they could possibly do is to not have them live all together.
Yeah, like chicken cages.
Once you're always with each other.
Yeah.
No personal space.
You go crazy.
Even if you have really good personalities, meshing really well, if you're around each other 24/7, damn, that would drive you
Like I
nuts.
lived with Danny and Jin for like a year. I went crazy too.
I didn't live with you, man. I barely used that house.
You just shitted on the room and left. That's why I go
I didn't
crazy.
shit in the room.
You shit in the
I
room.
shit in the room?
You sprinkled your
Shit?
No, your
What?
fur and hair
Okay,
and
okay,
all that
yeah,
shit and didn't
whatever.
clean.
It's okay. Anyway.
You broke our van.
Because I didn't like something in politics.
And you guys complained every single time when I wanted to like do the laundry.
Why did you do the laundry there?
I wanted to do the laundry for the mattress because it was dirty, but you guys were like, "Oh, it's okay, just don't."
Yeah,
I
stop
need to
being a little
use the
bitch.
mattress this night, you know, like
Stop
just
being a little bitch.
yeah.
Oh, I miss those days. Oh, those days.
No!
They were great. They had some fun times. Anyway, back to the point. Living together, it's gonna cause drama. That's gonna cause bullying. This is not a unique problem to AOA.
Yeah.
I've actually heard like a very big group right now. One of the top something group is having a lot of trouble because of friction between members.
It's bound to happen
It's-
because
yeah.
like if there's like more than five people in a
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
like it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So-
And just imagine for idol trainees, they're in a room practicing every single day. And if someone's a slow learner of the choreography and he or she keeps on messing up, there's bound to be some bullying or, you know, some hate.
Even if it's not blatant bullying, there's gonna be friction there. It amazes me sometimes when like I see groups like, you know, BTS.
Yeah.
They all seem pretty tight.
It's like when we do idol interviews and when I see idol interviews, those kind of questions that say like, who's the most messiest member in your group? Like who's always late to schedules? Whenever I hear those questions and all of the members like simultaneously point at someone and say like, oh, she is, and then they all laugh and make fun of her, I kind of feel awkward at those kind of moments. They're having fun. And
I kind of get that those are usually the people that are not gonna be the most liked.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine a situation like if you always come to the van or always go to a schedule, always late.
First few times you're gonna be like, oh, it's okay. But when it's like the 7th year and she's still f***ing way. I'm not saying like Mina's doing that.
none of that.
But it's just living in a group. It's not good.
I agree. Like, I think there should be systemic change.
But how do we change this? Very
Like, first,
confusing,
let's start with the residents, you know? Like, let's not put them in a, chicken cage.
Right
just
now-
let them live in their own houses. There should be
they
some
need 7
change at some
managers,
point.
Commute to work.
There has to be some change at some
They
point.
commute to work.
And I don't know. That's for the K-pop industry experts to figure out. But I think one thing we should emphasize here again is mental health again in K-pop. If this has been happening for 10 years and nobody in the management noticed it or overlooked it, there's a big problem here for the management or the label as well. If they're in those kind of situations, the industry should actually provide some sort of mental health care or at least care for your artist in a humanitarian perspective. A human perspective, not like don't treat them as products.
Here's an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
This system we have right now, I think it's gonna break K-pop, but
Yeah.
I also think this is what makes K-pop great.
Yeah, it's a pro and con at the same
Because
time. It's efficient.
If they're not living together 24/7,
Yeah.
if they're not practicing insane hours, then it's not obviously gonna be the quality that it's at right now.
Yeah, the best we can do is like at least provide some mental health care. And
That's so easy to say. Everybody says, okay, mental health care. I believe in mental health care. It's science. I believe in therapy. I believe there should be some professional help. But you don't put them through like 20-hour work days and then give them like an hour of therapy and then expect them to be okay. Like that's not how it works.
It's not. I'm not saying it's gonna be all okay. It's a start. Like at least.
No, I believe that that's like, the bare minimum.
And they're not even doing the bare minimum.
I know.
So that's
but
what I'm saying.
I feel like the fundamental change be
that
in
is
that
true.
you gotta accept that labor laws also apply to these people, and we gotta accept that the K-pop industry will not be as profitable if we were so we got to be less greedy. I think that's the start. That's very difficult to do, which is why I think this will never change, and which is why I think this will be the downfall of K-pop. This kind of system, it's breaking people.
I also agree in the long term or in the bigger perspective, there should be a whole revolution in the whole artist management.
Another issue. Okay, one more. A lot of these idols, they don't want to be idols. They didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah, maybe they only saw the flashy side and just wanted to be idols. But
my friend who works in a label, he said that actually a lot of trainees, they come to train because they want to date other idols. No, legit. Like they're 14 years old.
I know. Yeah.
What the fuck do they know?
I'm laughing at their motives.
Right, but
it's
that's like 14-year-old thinking. They signed a contract at 14 years old. They debut. They got 7 years. They're not ready for this shit. They don't know what they're getting into. They don't even give a shit about music a lot of times.
Yeah.
But they're just doing this job. By year 3 or 4, like if you're gonna make money or not. Say like you're a flop, then you're literally like wasting 7 years of your life.
I think you're saying that we're just doomed because if
we're
if
doomed.
there's no systemical change, nothing's gonna happen anyways.
There's gonna be no systematical change.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more on the bright side. Like, let's try to do at least what we can do, like the bare minimum, baby steps, in trying to like.
The world is f***ed. What's new?
Let's just at least treat these people as people, not products, and give them some care and love as management. And
Very easy to say.
It's like being a teacher. Like, I'm not saying they should babysit the idols, but at least as an
Give them a
adult.
phone?
No, as an adult, as the people who are responsible for their 7-year contracts, you need to recognize that they're people and try to give them some aid or guidance or some help when they're in these kind of problems, not just overlook them, neglect them, and just shove it away. Oh, it's not our problem. Like, that's the human aspect, go solve it by yourselves. Like, that's not the right attitude. So
my fear is that they'll go the opposite way, like suing these people, these members that expose inner, problems. I personally think that's gonna be the way it's gonna take.
There's probably a clause already. That's why Mina or the ex-member,
they can talk about it.
They can talk about it only now.
Right.
So.
But yeah, you can't have everything.
It's pretty grim.
We'll talk about this more in the after show. What is the future of K-pop? Is K-pop doomed? Is the system flawed from the ground up? Let's talk about it. Go to patreon.com/DKDKTV. This after show is going to be on this date, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So be there, please. You guys can chat with us live. And please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.